In this unit, we shift our focus from purchasing activities themselves to how the purchasing and supply management function is organized within the firm. Organizational design is not just an administrative issue. It fundamentally shapes how effectively purchasing supports strategy, manages suppliers, controls costs, and responds to operational needs. We will examine different structural forms, centralized, decentralized, and center-led, and discuss why firms choose one over another. We'll also explore how purchasing roles are defined, how job responsibilities differ across levels, and how the supply organization is evolving in response to digitalization and AI. By the end of this unit, you should be able to do several important things. First, you should recognize why organizational design matters for purchasing and supply management success. Second, you should understand the differences between centralized, center-led, and decentralized purchasing structures. Third, you'll learn the drivers that influence how firms choose among these structures. Fourth, we'll examine the mechanisms that allow center-led purchasing to work effectively. Finally, we'll discuss the types of purchasing jobs, distinguish between strategic and tactical activities, and identify future trends shaping supply organizations. Organizational structure provides the formal framework that defines authority, responsibility, communication, and coordination. In purchasing, structure determines who makes buying decisions, how suppliers are managed, and how purchasing aligns with corporate goals. Trends will often drive purchasing and supply management strategies, including MGT philosophies of leadership, technology changes, and collaborative environments. And the resulting strategies and objectives will drive decisions including organizational design, or whether the organization is centralized or decentralized, as well as investment decisions in different organizational enablers and business unit enablers. Importantly, structure both reflects and reinforces strategy. A firm that prioritizes efficiency, cost control, and leverage will structure purchasing very differently than a firm that prioritizes speed, flexibility, or innovation. Organizational structure affects several critical dimensions of purchasing and supply management. It determines where formal power resides, who has the authority to commit company spending. It shapes the division of tasks, influencing specialization versus generalization. It affects job scope, communication patterns, workflow, and coordination across functions. Ultimately, structure influences job satisfaction, supplier relationships, and the overall effectiveness of purchasing in achieving its objectives. Let's start with the three primary organizational forms. In a centralized structure, a chief purchasing officer or corporate team controls most purchasing decisions. In a decentralized structure, authority rests with business units, divisions, or sites. A center-led structure blends these approaches. Common high-spend items are managed centrally, while unique or locally specific purchases are handled at the business unit level. This hybrid model has become increasingly popular. Several factors drive the choice of purchasing structure. First is business strategy. Firms emphasizing responsiveness and flexibility often decentralize, while firms emphasizing efficiency and cost control tend to centralize. Second is the similarity of purchases. Highly similar items across units favor centralization, highly dissimilar items favor decentralization. Third is total spend. Larger spending volumes justify centralized leverage. Technology also matters. E-sourcing systems and ERP platforms enable greater coordination. Finally, management philosophy plays a role. Highly controlled organizations tend to centralize. Centralization offers several advantages. It allows firms to leverage purchasing volumes, negotiate better pricing, and reduce duplication of effort. It enables better coordination of sourcing strategies and company-wide systems. Centralization also supports the development of specialized expertise and helps purchasing align closely with corporate goals, particularly during periods of organizational change. Decentralization, however, has its own strengths. It improves speed and responsiveness, particularly in dynamic or customer-facing environments. Local buyers better understand unique operational requirements and can support new product development more effectively. Decentralization also increases ownership and accountability, since decisions are made closer to where impacts are felt. Let's walk through the key enablers that make this model effective. One foundational enabler is the use of strategic sourcing groups. These groups are often organized by sourcing region, allowing them to develop deep market knowledge about suppliers, regulations, logistics conditions, and cost structures within specific geographies. Their effectiveness is further enhanced by the use of a common ERP system for spend management, which provides visibility into purchasing activity across the entire organization. Another important enabler is lead division buying, which is used when common items are purchased across multiple divisions. In this arrangement, the division with the largest usage volume takes responsibility for leading the sourcing and contracting process on behalf of the organization. At the corporate level, business unit leaders play a critical coordinating role. These leaders interface directly with business unit cross-functional teams or CFTs, helping translate corporate sourcing objectives into operational realities. For organizations with global supply bases, global sourcing councils are a key enabler. These councils are made up of worldwide commodity sourcing teams responsible for coordinating sourcing strategies for critical commodities across regions. When purchasing needs are concentrated geographically, firms often rely on regional buying groups. These groups are responsible for managing large volume common items within a specific region. At a broader level, corporate purchasing councils bring together representatives from multiple facilities or divisions that purchase similar items. Closely related are corporate commodity councils, which focus specifically on major purchase commodities. These councils discuss long-term sourcing strategies, supply risks, cost trends, and demand forecasts. Another powerful enabler in center-led purchasing is the use of centers of excellence. Located at the corporate level and typically staffed by analysts and subject matter experts, centers of excellence provide advanced capabilities such as spend analytics, market intelligence, supplier performance analysis, and process improvement expertise. Similarly, shared services groups consolidate purchasing activities that were previously decentralized. These groups handle routine or standardized tasks such as transactional purchasing, data management, or supplier onboarding across the organization. Finally, some organizations extend their center-led approach beyond firm boundaries through consortiums and group purchasing organizations, or GPOs. Purchasing's influence is also shaped by who it reports to. When purchasing reports to an executive vice president or higher, it tends to be more strategic. Mid-level or lower-level reporting often limits purchasing's authority and strategic impact. Reporting structure sends a strong signal about how the firm views the role of purchasing. The purchasing function encompasses far more than buying. It includes sourcing, negotiation, contract management, analytics, sustainability, operational support, and administration. Modern purchasing professionals must combine analytical skills, strategic thinking, and cross-functional coordination. Let's go into more detail on each of these facets. This area focuses on identifying spend, selecting suppliers, negotiating terms, and managing contracts. The goal is not just low price, but value creation, risk management, and long-term supplier performance. Purchasing increasingly relies on data and analytics. Professionals monitor supply markets, assess supplier capabilities, analyze cost structures, and conduct value analysis. Sustainability considerations, environmental, social, and ethical, are now integral to sourcing decisions. Operational support includes day-to-day activities such as expediting, order releases, and issue resolution. Many of these tasks are now automated through e-procurement systems and AI, freeing purchasing professionals to focus on higher value activities. A key distinction in purchasing roles is between strategic and operational activities. Strategic activities focus on long-term supplier relationships, sourcing strategies, and value creation. Operational activities focus on execution, compliance, and daily support. This figure details the various activities involved in both strategic and operational levels. The key thing to consider is the time frame associated with these activities. Day-to-day activities that are short-term tends to be associated at the operational level, whereas long-range planning occurs at the strategic sourcing level. Effective organizations balance both and increasingly use technology to shift effort towards strategy. Administrative responsibilities include policy development, system maintenance, staffing, training, and performance measurement. Well-designed metrics ensure purchasing contributes to both operational efficiency and strategic goals. Organizational design is evolving from vertically structured, functionally focused models toward more horizontal, process-driven systems. Traditionally, organizations relied on functional silos, layered hierarchies, and closed information flows, with decisions made within teams and leverage derived primarily from internal efficiencies. Looking ahead, organizations are shifting toward designs that emphasize cross-functional processes, open information flows, and AI-assisted decision-making. Rather than optimizing individual departments, firms increasingly focus on end-to-end value creation across the supply chain. Hierarchies are becoming flatter, authority is more distributed, and decision-making is supported by real-time data and advanced analytics. At the same time, work is becoming less location-bound. While co-location remains important for collaboration, virtual social networks now play a central role in connecting teams across functions, regions, and organizational boundaries. Together, these trends signal a move toward more agile, networked, and intelligence-driven organizations designed to compete in complex, interconnected environments. Now, let's do a recap of what we learned in this unit. First, we learned that organizational design is not a background administrative decision. It is a core enabler of purchasing and supply management performance. The way purchasing is structured determines where decision-making authority lies, how purchasing tasks are divided, how information flows, and how effectively purchasing aligns with corporate strategy. We saw that organizational structure influences purchasing's ability to control costs, manage suppliers, respond to operational needs, and contribute strategically to the firm. A poorly designed structure can limit purchasing's influence, create duplication, and slow decision-making, while an effective structure can amplify purchasing's impact across the organization. In short, structure shapes outcomes. We also examined 3 primary organizational forms. In a centralized structure, most purchasing authority is concentrated at the corporate level, enabling strong control, standardization, and leverage of spend. In a decentralized structure, purchasing authority resides within business units or locations, allowing faster response and better alignment with local needs. Next, we learned that there is no single best purchasing structure. Instead, organizational design is shaped by several key drivers. These include the firm's overall business strategy, such as whether it prioritizes efficiency or responsiveness, the similarity of purchases across units, the total dollar value of spend, and the firm's management philosophy regarding control and autonomy. We learned that center-led purchasing does not work automatically. It requires deliberate organizational mechanisms to coordinate activity across units. These mechanisms include commodity councils, centers of excellence, shared services groups, strategic sourcing teams, and purchasing councils. We also discussed lead division buying, regional buying groups, global sourcing councils, and the use of common information systems to provide spend visibility. We expanded our view of purchasing beyond simply buying materials. Purchasing and supply management includes a wide range of job tasks, including sourcing, negotiation, contract management, market intelligence, supplier analysis, sustainability initiatives, operational support, and administrative responsibilities. We also saw that purchasing increasingly relies on analytics, value analysis, and supplier capability assessment. Modern purchasing professionals must integrate technical knowledge, data analysis, and relationship management to perform effectively. A key takeaway from this chapter was the distinction between strategic and operational, or tactical, purchasing activities. Strategic activities focus on long-term value creation, such as supplier relationship management, sourcing strategy, risk management, and sustainability initiatives. Tactical activities focus on execution, including order placement, expediting, and routine problem-solving. Finally, we explored how purchasing organizations are evolving. We learned that firms are moving away from rigid, siloed structures toward more horizontal, collaborative, and process-oriented designs. Future purchasing organizations will rely heavily on digital systems, AI, and analytics to handle routine information processing, while humans focus on judgment, ethics, collaboration, and relationship management. I will see you in the next unit.